Hey everyone, it's Mario, and this is Coffee Break, a devlog series for my upcoming game Barista Boy. So, grab yourself a cup of coffee, and let's have a break. I have always loved playing video games growing up. Being able to create and interact with these virtual worlds really inspired my creativity as a young artist. I would decorate my igloo and host parties in Club Penguin, create my idea of a perfect 2-story mansion in The Sims, and dabble in The Sims 1 creator. I loved engaging with these digital spaces, not only through playing but by creating my own art in response. And yes, this is a Club Penguin and Evangelion Rebuild crossover I made as a teenager, and I will not elaborate the thought process behind this. I've always wanted to make games, but as I got older and thought more about my career path, I decided to focus on illustration and graphic design, as that felt more aligned with where my skill set naturally gravitated towards. The dream would reignite in 2014 with Monument Valley. This game recontextualized what games could be for me. It was a concise, sensory experience with an abstract narrative. It's so minimalistic in its approach, yet bold in its choices. I would watch interviews and behind-the-scenes videos, and the possibility of working in a similar space was so inspiring. One thing that really stood out to me was the team's goal of making each screen so beautiful that it could be printed and hung on a wall. The simple yet considered mechanics and minimalist yet intentional visuals really spoke to me as a creative. I discovered exactly the kind of games I'd love to be part of creating. I've since then graduated with a BFA in Multimedia Arts and took my internship at a video game studio where I would eventually work full-time as a multimedia artist. Years into the studio role, working on various projects and games, I still hadn't gotten around to developing my own. Until my coworker and friend, Alex, the second half of Barista Boy, pushed me to just start something that he'd develop it with me. I've had a few game ideas that have been brewing in my mind for years at this point, but I knew I had to start small and go with something familiar. So I went with coffee. So, why a game about coffee in a cafe? Well, besides the fact that the frequency that I drink coffee is potentially a concern, I helped my parents start their cafe business, Dear Jane Cafe, in late 2023. I did the branding, product photography, marketing, and even a little store decorating. I helped my parents execute their vision, but this led me to wonder what my ideal cafe would look like. What would the store setup be? The branding, the drinks, how would I run it? Funneling all these thoughts and questions from real life into a game felt like a natural fit and a solid starting point to build a concept. I was also able to bring home a spare machine and have a shot, okay, I should stop, at making my own cups of coffee. Being able to understand and execute the steps would give me insight on how to gamify the barista experience, although I do mention this in the barest minimum way possible because I am terrible at it. But I thought it was worth mentioning anyway. As I mentioned a while back, playing games in general naturally pushes me to create in response, so many of the games I've played growing up have informed my creative choices for Barista Boy. I'm bringing my fond memories of playing Cooking Mama on the DS to the table, and the countless hours I spent disassociating with Animal Crossing New Horizons during the pandemic. I'd say those are my main inspirations, but games like Club Penguin, The Sims 1, Little Big Planet, Eastward, Stardew Valley, and Chef RPG have sparked my creativity and imagination just as importantly. I took all these inspirations, experiences, and my own personal perspective on starting and running a cafe, ground them up like beans, patted them into a portafilter, and extracted what is now known as Barista Boy. I describe Barista Boy as a cozy cafe simulator with decorating, customization, and dating sim elements blended in. You'll be able to serve drinks, customize and grow your cafe, upgrade equipment, and meet new regulars and friends. Maybe even find love? The aim here is to have a large and colorful cast of characters that the players will get to know and love through daily interactions. I've designed 5 characters to start us off. We have Barry, our barista and cafe owner, Priscilla, an otaku or otaku and cosplayer, Daisy, nature lover and sustainable living enthusiast, Oliver, a tech entrepreneur and superhero geek, and Jim, our resident weightlifter and music lover. It's a small team to start, but I hope you'll enjoy meeting them as much as I have loved designing them. When starting the project, I already knew that the game would have company, so it was important for me to quickly identify what I saw as its unique selling points and lean into that. The first is the game's ethos: cozy at your own pace. So the game is split into 2 major components: cafe mode and barista mode. Cafe mode allows players to walk around the cafe and interact with customers, items, etc., and barista mode is where the drinks are prepared. To push the heart of the game, cozy at your own pace, the game prioritizes precision over speed. In barista mode, each step of the process has a gauge that represents volume, and hitting the perfect amount will give you the best tasting product. We're talking pixel-perfect precision here. Time will still be a factor for customer satisfaction, but isn't the perfect cup often worth waiting for? Furthermore, in cafe mode, you'll be able to control the flow of customers with sales and promotions, if you prefer a more hectic, time-pressured environment, but in general we want players to feel relaxed and focused while playing the game. Another aspect that is quite unique to Barista Boy is that it plays completely on a controller. Everything can be accessed with a push of a button and alleviates the need to scan the screen for things to click or drag. The hope here is that the simplicity will make the game more accessible to a wider group of gamers, but also that over time players will memorize which buttons are assigned to which part of the barista area, and they'll be able to speed through the steps if they want to, almost like a QuickTime event. Which, funnily enough, is the inspiration behind this mechanic. More specifically, Auron's Overdrive from Final Fantasy X, which happens to be my favorite game of all time. So that's a general overview of the project at the moment. It's still at a very early stage, and between my studio job and life outside of games, there's only a limited amount of time that I can invest in the project at the moment. However, we've got many plans and mechanics already lined up and ideas to expand the base game, but just like any good cold brew, it takes time. In our next episode, I'll be going through an exciting opportunity we had to showcase Barista Boy back in July at a game dev expo called PGDX here in the Philippines, so don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss it. I'll see you there. Now until then, take care and have yourself a coffee break.